Okay.
Erik, it seemed two recurrent themes of the games were turnovers and fouls, the kind of things that indicate sloppy, messy, maybe just sort of your thoughts on those two things coming together on a night like this.
The turnovers, they did a great job of pressuring, more pressure, with this lineup that they have, their tag ups as they were in rebounding position, and that put them in pressure position. So I think we had 5 or 6 turnovers in the backcourt in some form or fashion. And then in the first half, I think we had 5, interior pass or fundamentals, which they do a tremendous job. And this is their energy group. This is their defensive group. They already lead the league in deflections. And so when we had, 9-point leads, every time I looked, there was like we'd push it to 9. We probably had that several times, and we could never get it to 15. And then finally in that third quarter, we got it to 14, and I believe Norm missed that dunk. Could have put it to 16. And then from that point on, they took over. You do have to credit them. I mean, those guys were playing aggressive, and we couldn't contain it at that point, and then we were missing, some shots. We didn't have our normal pop and energy offensively. And then it just became a snowball rolling down the hill. The things that we could have controlled would have been taking care of the ball better, the cuts that led to rebounding again, and then the fouling. The fouling potentially could have been, a matter of just, not fatigue. Our guys are in tremendous condition. But from the other night, an emotional game, and then here we're just a step slow, it seemed like, in a lot of those situations in the second half.
On the other end with the fouling, you guys have generated a lot of free throws the last few games tonight. I think it was 13. What did you see there as far as maybe them keeping you guys away from the paint, or maybe not getting to the same areas to draw the...
Yeah, I just don't, we didn't have our normal energy. There are pockets of the game where you saw the energy, but it was really more of a grind to get the running out in transition, the cuts, the swings, the catch and go drives. Everything was just a little bit late. And again, in the first half, that's the area where we probably could have taken control of the game better. And when you don't take care of the game, when you can in those areas, then it's tough to get it back sometimes, and that's what happened in the second half. And again, you just have to credit them. They played with great force, great energy. With this lineup that they had, the ball moves. It's a little bit more actions, back actions. You have to play more situations on a certain possession. And then as the shot goes up, they do the tag up and crash. We just did not handle that, well enough. And this will be a lesson not for, this weekend, but, having that maturity to be on edge, to really, treat it with the same urgency as the other night. And then, it would have been a great win, just to find a way to win, even if the guys weren't feeling great, physically and everything. You find a way to gut it out, and 130, is not a way to gut it out.
Obviously, you're going to see different approaches to your approach. Tonight, they put a lot of height on Jaime, and it was a little bit different. Jared was on him. Thomas was on him. How did that impact things? And now, are you at the point this season now where now it's time for counters to the counters?
Well, I would say, the last time we played him was one of the few times a team hasn't put their 5 on him. That's been happening for the last month. Most teams are putting the 5 on him, and he's handled that pretty well.
In both games, you didn't really get to the rim a lot, but there were constant. The drives were there, and you were getting the shots through contact, and you actually shot pretty well both times. So I'm wondering if there's any distinction between the shots you're getting off drives on Monday and tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I'll have to look at the film, but when we had opportunities to really gain some momentum offensively, we were turning it over a lot. You know, so it's tough to say. Like, if you're just only trying to attack and get to the rim and shoot it over a contest, you know, that's not going to be great. You know, we had a lot of turnovers on threading the needle or jumping in the air against a team that's elite at finding deflections. And you just never know, like, where those possessions could lead to better rhythm. You know, if you do your proper fundamentals, proper spacing, get the ball out where it needs to go, the ball moves, and all of a sudden you get a wide open shot. Now that can be momentum going your way. Instead, it ends up being, truncated drive, you know, like where we had like 2 good possessions and all of a sudden 2 turnovers, and then now we're not in rhythm. They're grinding, staying in the game. I don't know how many times we got it to 9, and then all of a sudden, you know, they came back and got it to 3 several times during the course of the game.
Coach, them missing obviously those key guys, Hunter and Allen, really stepped up. Well, what kind of problems were those 2 really posing, to the team?
Yeah, they just have. I mean, Hunter had more of a usage tonight, you know, so he had a different role, and he's big, he's physical, and he did a great job of cutting. You know, I think that was probably the most underrated thing he did tonight. Every time we put a body on him, he cut for a foul or an easy opportunity. And then Allen was super impactful. I mean, I'm sure only playing 20 minutes, you know, he's a prideful, winning player. He came out with a purpose tonight, and he was rolling and sealing and offensive rebounding, finishing in traffic, all of those things. He was probably motivated very much from the other night.
Coach, when you think about specifically the transition offense, how much can the turnovers be blamed for slowing down that part of your attack?
I mean, a decent amount. You know, I would say in the second half, the ball going in or us fouling had a bigger impact. Okay, thank you.